Hello and welcome to another episode of The Modern Nerd. I am Sir Slice.
And I'm Smerchandise.
And we are, as always, massive nerds. Now, as you can tell, we're missing our third, and he will be missed dearly. Senor GJC did not play Spider-Man 2, because he does not and will not own a PlayStation 5. Shots fired. But today, as seen below here, we shall be talking about Sony's Marvel Spider-Man 2 for the PlayStation 5. Yes, this review came out long after the game came out, but we both finally have played it and have things to say because, hello, I am Spider-Man fan number 7,642 million. So, this is going to be...
All you modern nerds keep doing reviews of other things, and I just want more reviews of Spider-Man!
That's good. Well, I'm gonna give you a nice mustache right there. It'll be good. You'll see it in post.
Awesome.
It's fucking hilarious. Okay, so I loved this game, but nobody is shocked about that. Nobody. This was not breaking news. Sir Slice loved Spider-Man something, but I loved it, and I'll get into why in a little while here. But Smirch, did you like this game, sir?
I did like this game. They knew how to make a sequel. I don't think, from a narrative standpoint, that it captured the magic like it once did. That being said, from a video game mechanic standpoint, chef's kiss.
Awesome. We're gonna dive into that one there. So the story. So for me, you're right. Like this felt like a very different narrative because I feel like these two games kind of talked about very different topics outside of just, supervillains and stuff like that. Like this one was very much about like confrontation and overcoming personal demons and external demons. It was very much more an emotionally driven game, whereas the first one, yes, there was emotion in it, don't get me wrong, and it hit every beat so well in that first one, but this one relied so much more heavily on emotion and people overcoming things, so, like Miles confronting Lee, which we'll talk about, and Peter overcoming, his own personal demons being brought to the foreground through the symbiotes, and Harry's resentment towards everybody, and Mary Jane's resentment towards Peter. Like, there's just so many things that the word resentments just resonates with, that it really did drive a very different narrative. And that's not to say I didn't like it. I really did. I just really didn't want to have to wipe my eyes quite as much while playing a video game. You're going to miss that combo because you're tearing up because fucking Peter. So it was a very different experience for me. But overall, I mean, I really did think that it was quite intense of a narrative. One of my favorite moments was, spoilers, in the middle when you've gone through the Kraven storyline and you're into the Venom storyline, which we will get back to in a minute here, where Peter, oh no, you haven't gone through the Kraven storyline. Peter gets stabbed in the gut by Kraven, and it's this I'm just like, oh my god, are they gonna do it? Like, are they gonna kill Peter Parker? Because in the Ultimate Universe, Peter Parker dies. That's where Miles is. That's his universe, is Peter dies, and Miles becomes the only Spider-Man. And so I'm just like, oh man, are they gonna do this? Like, that would be insane. I'm choking up, and then eventually you see a few minutes later that the symbiote jumps off of Harry and saves Peter, and then fuses with him, and hence the rest of the classic black suit symbiote pretty much plays out as it would in the comics. But that was just really poignant cutscene.
For me, I was too amped for Venom to allow myself to kind of get into his story, though the tidbits you do get, I finished out his little side quest line with the the bases, and I got the two costumes for the two Spider-Men.
Pretty cool costumes. I'm not going to play as them, but they're cool. They look nice.
That's fine. And it's interesting at how his family is going through everything, and then doesn't his whole family die? I'm
Yeah, through like voicemails and shit.
Yeah, so that was that was a little heavy,
No,
but
not everyone
um,
dies. His his
his daughter,
his daughter doesn't die.
yeah, okay.
Spoilers.
Regardless, I mean that's barely that's again through a voicemail, um, but it was I was the dramatic reveal in the first game of the Sinister Six was one of my favorite moments in video game history. Um, and granted, they had to promote Venom a little bit in this game to people get excited. I'm excited. I was excited. You were excited. So the dramatic reveal of Venom didn't quite have the punch that the reveal of the Sinister Six did. Uh, Spider-Man 1 was just what I felt, at least in the beginning, like it's a slow, organic story in the beginning, and it just all of a sudden just. And this was a little bit more like constant, increasing in excitement. I mean, obviously, you have the moment where Mary Jane is turned into Scream, and that was a great moment. You really saw how
That's cool.
strong-willed that Mary Jane is. Mary Jane was able to get out of that in less than a couple hours. Meanwhile, Harry and Peter are like consumed by it.
Yeah.
Mary, you want to speaking of Mary Jane, you want to talk about Mary Jane's stun gun for a second?
I mean, like, it just, like, I hated her gameplay in the last one. Like, I hated it. It was stupid. It was so stupid. I don't care
Hmm.
about it at all in the first game. You're just sneaking around, and I'm just like, you don't do anything. It's dumb. And
Yeah.
now they're like, let's give Mary Jane like a weapon, and it's like this stun gun that'll drop a fucking rhino from 100 yards. Like it's just like, what the shit, man? Like, this thing, just give that to Peter. Why are you caring? Give it to Peter. He can just clear this whole game in 10 minutes. Like, what's the problem here? Like it, and they upgrade it later with like Simkarian tech, and then like the leftover
She's just
tech,
downing
tech, and tech.
symbiotes
Yeah,
with it,
it just
like
left and right. And I'm like, why does he not have this in his webs? Like, what the shit? What, we get this like
yeah.
this radiant pulse thing, and I'm like, that's cool because it stuns them, and we get to do combos and shit. But like, I would love to just go through a horde of these things, and be like, shoot, 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 you're all dead. Like, that's just
Yeah.
satisfying.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's for me. It just I was like, fuck you guys.
It's
Like,
funny. Everyone talks about it. It's like I much rather take this version of Mary Jane cutscenes
don't
versus the first game.
I don't
Like
need them though.
I
I get what they're doing,
don't
and
need it.
it helped in certain scenes, especially with like Connors. I thought that was a really nice, sweet moment before like you go on this insane fucking battle with the lizard after a while. But like,
That was the money, that was like the main trailer and like promotional material for this
yeah,
game. So that was like the over the top.
yeah, it's
That was
nuts.
great. It was amazing.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was
yeah.
so cool.
Um,
Um,
okay, dude, we could talk about this game for hours. Let's talk about Miles' side of this thing for a little while, because in the end, this movie might as well have been. This game was a passing of the torch. It was a very much a passing of the torch in the end for Peter to Miles, because it kind of ends that way, where Peter's like, I'm gonna try and rebuild the Emily May Foundation, and take a back seat and let Miles be Spider-Man for a little while, so that he can learn his way, and then Peter can have a life with MJ and all this other side stuff. And so Miles I think he had a really good storyline in this one, because he was sort of the emotional linchpin and emotional support for Peter, and was the one that was trying to ground him throughout the whole movie. He just wanted to be with his hero. He just wanted to be with his mentor. He just wanted to try and, learn as much as he could, because he himself was dealing with a lot of issues. He was growing up. He has to go to college. He has to write this essay, which became more his narrative, was the essay, and like coming to terms with he's not just Spider-Man and all that stuff. But, so having Miles confront Lee, having Miles be the one that talks Peter down, having Miles be the one who, is gets his own like mini boss fight, spoilers, with Mysterio. I don't know if you did that or not, but like you get like all these little Miles moments, and up until you get the symbiote, I liked playing as Miles more than I liked playing as Peter. Peter's like little like claws that come out, they're okay, like the spider legs and arms. I'm like, they're fine, but I don't think they were done correctly. They did what they needed to do, and you had a little bit of extra like combat. But then once you get the symbiote powers, I was like, well, these are fucking awesome. I'm never going to use those things again. So speaking of game mechanics, but I liked what they did with Miles. But yeah, did you like the Miles end of it?
I liked Miles' part in this game. I was so certain that it was gonna feel like a more Peter-centered story with Miles to the side, and that still was true to a degree. But he saved him, and this game, it's a hard thing to really. Like when you have a game like Grand Theft Auto 5 and there's 3 characters, it doesn't matter as much, in my opinion. But when you have a game with that's 2 main characters, you really have to toe the line with who has more of a part to play, whether it's this or that. And though you could say Miles, from a game mechanic standpoint, still could just straight up turn invisible and Peter doesn't have anything to on his side of that. From a narrative standpoint, I think they towed the line really well. I don't know how much you can't ask for too much more, in my opinion.
The writers on this deserve a lot, because they really did put they had, when you have more time than a movie, but you look at things like Spider-Man 3 where they wedged in Venom, and you had Green Goblin, whatever that was, and you had Sandman, and it just was like this like a hodgepodge mess of a shit. Nobody knew whose background you had to care about, why the motivation for all these characters were. But with most of these like little mini boss battles in like Sandman and Mysterio and Lee, although I wouldn't call him a mini boss, he's more of like one of the main bosses for Miles. But like you get a lot, like, yes, you have to play some of their like side missions, but you get a lot of depth into the motivation to why you're fighting the villain of the week. It's not just a villain of the week. You know what I mean? They did a lot with this, and it just kind of goes to show like the medium of games and storytelling in games is really, really, really like so much better than it was just even 5-10 years ago, and not every case, not every game's going to be like that, but this one, I think
this game did it well.
Yeah, this game did it well.
Game did the character well. Every single character I felt that was on screen was done justice.
Okay,
talk game mechanics.
Yeah, for the sake of timing, we're going to do this slightly rapid fire here, folks. Bear with us. We'll do the best we can. Game mechanics. What was your favorite thing that they added to this game?
Was the web grabber in previous games? I don't even know if it was, because this version's web grabber is amazing. I could not use it enough. And then you upgrade it all the way, and it becomes like a thing that you can web throw and electrify people.
It's fucking intense.
It is so I couldn't get enough of it. There was so much satisfaction of just bringing everyone together and then Venom punching everyone. It's so much fun. And honorable mention, the web wings. Anytime you upgrade a traversal mechanic to an already top tier traversal mechanic to game, amazing. I couldn't get enough of it. It was a little squirrely at first, but I really liked being able to
very squirrely at first. Yes. You're like, like I'm running into buildings.
That's how it's supposed to be. You're not like, you don't have like a Batman sized like thing. You just have a couple little extra wings, and I liked it.
It was good. I liked the web wings. I was gonna put them on there, but for me, I loved the web launch, web slingshot thing, and not, I don't mean just like there's platforms you can jump onto and do like a massive one, but like the biggest problem in all of the Spider-Man games was you had to either get a running start and jump to get any forward momentum in your swing speed, or you had to be at the top of a building, dive down, and then use that momentum to get you going forward. Now, in this one, you can just whip and hit 2 points, pull yourself back like you see in every single fucking movie they've ever made, and launch yourself forward and get that momentum straight into a swing. to me, that was great because you could just do that and then hop into a web wingsuit and then just start swinging after that. Once you start to lose that little momentum, it just was so fluid and it was great. Honorable mention for me was they really upgraded the fast travel. Before, you could only fast travel to police headquarters and maybe one or two other places. You can literally pick any corner on the map. It'll move you a little bit, but you just drop right in. I was like, for doing those end game stuff, it makes it so much faster to just do the little side missions at the end. Least favorite, other than the fast travel, apparently.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Never did it. Um, my least favorite. I mean, okay, so this is I don't know the debut of the like the whole symbiote thing and where he's turned or Venom spoilers Venom's turning everyone into symbiotes. Obviously, people as symbiotes and an army of symbiotes has to feel powerful, and they should. Um, it felt like too much. I want to give them credit. You know, there are all these different kinds of in the symbiote army he had. There's yellow, purple, red, and like the massive ones, and they all do something different, and they were looked really cool, and they were clearly well designed. It's just up until that point, everything I've played, both in Spider-Man 1 and Miles Morales, and all the way up until this point, everything had kind of like a like a rhythm to it, like an ebb and a flow, and this just completely went off tempo for me. I don't know how else to describe it. There was you're gonna get hit at some point, even if you're dodging what feels like correctly. There's too many different things that are happening. There's like little things they can shoot, and there's little like explosion things that walk towards you, and
God, those things. I hated those little ones. Fuck, I forgot about those.
And even usually if you're fighting something in air, you'll get the little flash. I don't think the things that shoot up a long arm and drag you down, something was maybe not programmed well, but because I never get the little flash in like for the spider sense to dodge.
I definitely struggled with those for sure in the beginning. I did have a couple of just call it hyper focus moments, but I had a few of those where I was fighting like a dozen and I didn't get hit once, and I was just on fucking fire, and it was just ah, and then by the end of it I was like sitting in my chair. It was intense. It was awesome, but they are substantially harder than the rest of the guys. And I'm gonna play through it again. I actually went back and picked it up again yesterday. I haven't played it in 2 months, and I died 3 times. I could not fight them. I fought the normal guys and everything, the hunters, but then they would come in every battle in the end game, post game shit, and I was just oh my god, I haven't played in a while, and I don't remember all the buttons real quick, but I was even Spider-Man 1 I could pick up a year later and just be I'm gonna kick your ass. Right. And now I was just holy fuck. Which I'm not against games being challenging. I'm all for it. I don't, but there is a degree where it's yeah. My least favorite thing, and I used it twice. No, I used it a handful of times because I wanted to try it, but I just didn't care. You get this giant swing mechanic for traversal. So if you're going to grab the corner and you're oh, I'm not going fast enough, you can just hold on and you can't see my hand, you'll just keep going around one more time and then shoot off, and you get a good amount of momentum. It's there. I can feel a difference, but it's clunky, it's awkward. I run into the building I'm hanging on to 4 out of 5 times. One time I accidentally went around and went through a fire escape, and it was fucking awesome, but I couldn't do that again if you asked me to. I can jump around this thing. I can grab, in the trailer for the first one, you can grab onto those water towers and swing your, dive through them underneath, and you can run on the side and dive through a fire escape. You can do all these super awesome things. no way, I can barely use that mechanic. It just doesn't need to exist because you've already expanded on like you can like thwip in the air and jump, and then you've got like later Venom abilities where you can like dash in midair and jump higher in midair, and you already then added where if you're diving you get even more speed. I'm just like, you don't need that. It's not going to come in handy like at all. I will have momentum in the air before I need to get to that. It was just a wasted mechanic. We're going to real quickly go and say a favorite boss battle, something you really enjoyed playing. And this will be quick, probably.
Yeah. I'm just going to say the boss battles, it kind of start to blend together a little bit for me. They had enough uniqueness to keep it separated, but I got a little jaded on them. I will just say, since they all did blend together for me from a narrative standpoint, Miles versus Mr. Negative was a really great moment for Miles and his character, and I really enjoyed that.
That was a really good narrative-driven fight. And if you know me, I love a good narrative fight. Go watch our wrestling episode. For me, I had kind of two, but one was more just, it was a mini boss. It was Wraith, as we talked about, because all of these bosses, you're fighting someone who's usually larger than you, and that's usually with Peter. The lizard. That was an intense battle. It was cool. It was visceral and crazy, but like but like it's a big lizard, or Sandman is a 27-story tall sand cloud, or you're fighting a giant this or a giant that. When you're fighting Wraith, you're right there. It's very much hand-to-hand combat. She gets some licks in. You can get some licks in. You're dodging correctly. It still felt like closer to like a normal game mechanic fight in like fighting a mob of guys. But this person didn't take as much damage, and you still were able to kind of dodge them and fight them in a normal fashion. Whereas like with like, things like, for sake of argument, the one with what's his name that you were just talking about, Mr. Negative, you do end up like, it's got the classic, here's his 4 attacks, double dodge this, roll for that, jump up for that one. Oh, he's stunned, go and hit him. So you have to kind of have that. It is a video game and there's things you have to do, but the Wraith one for me did feel a little bit more natural and embedded in the game mechanics than some of the others. So I enjoyed that, but I also really, from a narrative point of view, my favorite though was Miles versus Peter. I really, that one got me, because again, it was a faster paced fight. You still had to do some of the normal shits in dodge this, jump there, make him stun this, but it was still, that was an intense moment for me, because, like, shit, how are they going to get this off of him? And having it be Miles was kind of cool. All right. Last thing, and then we're cutting it. What was your favorite suit for each person?
Favorite suit for Peter was it was the superior suit. I just thought that was really cool. Specifically, the color swapped, the white and green one at the end. It was just nice to have something that wasn't like blue or red. I don't know.
That's that suit comes from, you'd like this. Doc Ock, Otto Octavius implanted his consciousness inside of Peter's mind and became Spider-Man for a period of time, and he decided he would be the superior Spider-Man because Peter has been doing it wrong for his entire career, and so he had a much crazier set of like not abilities, but like he utilized his tech and all this stuff, and he kind of like built this like network of like drone spider things that were like monitoring everybody. It became it was really intense, but he did eventually design his own suit, and that's what you got. And it was I do like that one. That's solid, straight out of the comics.
I really like that one a lot.
Yeah. Miles. What is this one?
I think so. This is the one you get for completing all of the Mysterio side quests, and you basically look like a Power Ranger.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. I probably still, my favorite one overall is probably just a couple of ones from the last game, but in terms of new suits, that was the Smoke and Mirror suit.
I like that.
Mysterio suit.
I did that early in the game. I did his stuff as quickly as I could because I liked Mysterio, and that I did play with this suit for like a solid hour in the game, and it was pretty fun. It's weird during the cutscenes,
yeah, it is.
but
very weird.
Everything else is really cool. My favorite um, Miles is a tie. It's an honest to God tie for me. It's the Crimson Cowl, where he has like this hood with a little point in it, and it's just like you can do. I like the one where it's black with the red trim. I think that sticks with his colors, but it still looks pretty cool. But I really liked the Dark Ages one, which is like a Venomized type version of it. And it just, I love those shits. And some of them aren't great. Some of them are, like the King in Black one I thought was cool. But I think the Dark Ages, those two for me, I played as soon as I got them. I played with those almost the whole game. And then for me, for Peter, it was Scarlet 3 suit, which is a new version of like the Scarlet Spider when Ben comes back later in the comics and yada yada. And he gets again, a hood. There's something about it. I really love Spider-Gwen. I think she's great too. She has a hood. And then Peter gets this hood. And I don't know. It works for me. There's no webbing really anywhere on it. It's a very clean, sleek look. And it's, it nice. Plays on the blue and the red. I 90% of the game until I get the symbiote suit and you're forced to wear it, and then you get the anti-venom suit and you're forced to wear it as well. You don't, like, I played as that. That was my suit because you get that right away, and I was like, oh fuck yeah, that's like level 3 done. Wearing this all game, and yeah,
I mostly wore Miles's hooded suit that you get pretty early.
I like that one too. His like 2099 one.
I don't remember
something.
Exactly.
What's your least favorite?
My least favorite. There's a lot.
There are.
there's a lot that I'm really not a fan of. I'm more or less probably I'm gonna agree with you. But for Miles, just the great responsibility one. It's not terrible, but it's just like, what are you even doing with this? Just seems like, at least with the homemade suits, they make it look like something that he put together. This is just like what are the fucking knee pads and elbow pads?
This is the
gloves he got from like a store. I don't know.
No, you don't remember this suit?
I do remember it
from Miles the game.
I do remember it. I don't.
Yeah. I don't like it either. But
it's just like I don't know. I get it. At least they had some reason behind it. But
yeah, because
honestly, I'm probably with you, and you with what you think is the worst one
for Miles.
Yeah,
they're both the same. I didn't realize Miles got this suit either.
Yeah. The
life story.
Yeah.
Just
life story suit. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it was such a letdown because Harry was such a big part of the game that like the suit that he designed for Peter through the Emily May Foundation was just so. I'm like, what the fuck is this, man? Are you going to space? Like, what this is? It? Are you dealing with hazmats all day long? I didn't like it. It was not a good suit for anybody.
Life story suits. It's just,
at all.
What are you doing? I don't really care for either of them. Also, Peter's suit, the Secret Wars Civil War suit, just pants, dude.
I didn't mind it.
Why are you wearing these green cargo short pants?
Shout out to oh man, I wish I remember the name of it. Like the zoot suit that Miles gets. Anyway, this obviously went on longer than we anticipated, but this game was cool and we really liked it and really love talking about the things we love to talk about. So I hope everybody enjoyed this and everybody that watches enjoyed the game.
Playing as Venom was so cool and fun.
Super satisfying.
Also, before we go, Tim,
short.
How do you feel about the fact that there was the suit was not vulnerable to fire? How do you feel about that?
Yeah. Also, speculation. We're still going to have multiple playable characters.
Is that an answer?
We're going to have multiple playable characters in the next one. Do you know who they introduced?
Yes, I looked it up.
End credit scene for Miles. He finally meets the person that his mom has been dating, and his name is Albert, and his daughter is Cindy Moon, aka Silk, and her story and her origin in the beginning is kind of tragic-ish. I won't get into it now. That's for another podcast. Actually, that'll be a short that you guys will see coming up not too long. But there's some. She's got a cool origin. I have her origin comic book, and it's awesome. So I'm happy to have it.
She's new as fuck, right?
Like 2015.
Yeah.
2014.
Wow.
somewhere in
That's
there.
pretty
I mean,
cool.
dude, Spider-Gwen 2012, 2013, Miles
True.
2009, I think he made it. It's
Wow.
2008. Like he's new.
He's
They're
been working
all these
so
people are
long
new,
now. That's
and
crazy.
it's fantastic. First of all, his I'll tell you later. Anyway, please, we love talking about these things, and we hope you guys did, and we hope that we'll go through these and get you guys some shorter, more digestible versions of these conversations in the shorts. So keep an eye out for those. If you had anything you wanted to add in the comments, please let us know. Like and subscribe so that we can do that. And if you really liked this one, please click the button and we'll do more like this. We'll do more game reviews. Leave us a comment. That helps a lot to let us know what you want us to talk about. And we are very open to all of your ideas. As always, if you've had a good time, we have been the Modern Nerd, and thank you for watching.